Hi, it's Colleen, and welcome to the Alex Syberia Designs new release. I have a fun technique that we're going to do today that gets the most use out of your stamp sets. We're going to create a focal point and a gorgeous background. So this is a new release from the Gina K Designs release for November. It's called Midnight Blooms, and it's a gorgeous 6x8 stamp that has two flowers on it. It has holiday sentiments, but it's also got some regular sentiments like thinking of you, today is a new day. But look what else that this coordinated set comes with. It comes with a set of stencils. So there are a set of 4 stencils that can help you stencil both of those beautiful flowers. And this is what it looks like. So these are the steps that you can take to coordinate the stencils, and that's what it looks like when it's finished. Absolutely gorgeous. But also you get 2 hot foil plates. So you get both of those flowers as a hot foil plate, and we're going to hot foil today. So we'll do a little bit of that today as well. But those are beautiful, beautiful large foils that I think is going to really make this card pop today. Now, along with that, you also have a set of dies, and you can see that the dies are not just for the flowers, but there are dies for every single sentiment in there. Gorgeous, gorgeous set. So let's get started with our card today. Now this is the card we're going to duplicate. We're going to create a beautiful background using the stencils along with the focal point. So we're going to foil, we're going to ink blend, we're going to do all kinds of stuff, but we're going to do it in blue this time. We're going to change it up a bit. So the first step is to do some hot foiling, and I'm using the Spellbinders Glimmer machine and then the coordinating Glimmer hot foil. You have to use the Glimmer hot foil that goes with the Spellbinders plate. So I'm going to start by prepping my flowers, and I'm using some copper hot foil. And my technique I learned from Jennifer McGuire. You place the hot foil face down on the paper, pretty side down on the paper, and then you slip the foil beneath it. So the pretty side of the foil touches the pretty side of the foil plate. And Jennifer McGuire taught me that, and it is actually the only way that I can remember to do this right. So I'm going to be prepping both of my flowers in this same way. And then it looks like my hot foil machine is ready to go. So once I finish with my small flower here, then I can start the foiling process. Once you get the process down of doing the foiling, it's really not hard to remember it at all. So now I'm going to take the larger flower and I'm going to place it onto the hot foil plate, and I'm going to put my little plastic covers over it and press the green button at the very bottom. So voila, it happened quicker. That's because I cut some of this out, but I wanted to show you what this looks like after I ran it through my die cut machine. Isn't that beautiful? You have a lovely, lovely flower that has got some shine on it, and it's ready to be colored. So now again, I'm going to do the same thing, put the smaller one in, press the button, run it through my die cut machine, and then when I take it back out, I can remove everything and reveal the beautiful foiled flower. These are so gorgeous and so large. I just love Alex's flowers. She does the best job with them. Now we're going to do some ink blending using the 4 stencils. So I'm starting with stencil number 1. Each one of the stencils are labeled in the upper left corner. Stencil 1, stencil 2, so on and so forth. So it's easy for you to know what's what. So I'm going to start by ink blending with the lightest shade of blue ink. And I'm using a Post-it note placed there to protect the leaves so I don't get blue ink on the leaves. That's just a little cheat thing I do to protect the areas that I don't want to get ink on. And then you're going to see me go ahead and reverse it when I do the leaves. And now I'm going to protect the flowers so I don't get green ink on the flowers. So I'm going to continue this process with each one of the layers of the stencils. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to let you listen to some relaxing music and watch the whole process so that you can see how these stencils work. So enjoy, and I'll be back in a few minutes. So I'm just about finished, and here you can see the finished product for the larger flower. I'm going to do the same thing with the smaller flower as well, but I'm going to do that off camera. So right now I am going to die cut this flower and get it ready to do the next step. So here are both flowers completed, foiled, ink blended, gorgeous. And now we're ready to go on to the next step, which is the background. Now we're going to focus on using the same stencils to create a background. We're not going to do every layer though. I'm only going to use 2 of the stencils. I love this technique because I think it adds such a cohesive and beautiful, beautiful touch to the background. So this is stencil number 1, and we're going to go ahead and ink blend with the same colors of ink the flowers and the leaves. And again, I'm only going to use, I definitely used layer number 1, stencil number 1, and then I think I went in and used stencil number 3 because I just wanted to add a little bit more detail. Excuse me. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and play some more music for you again so that you can see how I built this background, and then I'll be back with you in just a few minutes. So I'm just about finished with my background. You can see that I used two different layers, and I only used the second layer on the flowers. I didn't use it on the leaves. I just wanted that pop of green color on the leaves. But I really love how this background is coming together and forming just an absolute beautiful backdrop for the focal point. You could actually use this background without the flowers if you want. You could create a beautiful background like this and then just finish with a sentiment. And you have it. Isn't that lovely? And you can do this in any color you want. All the rainbows are perfect for this. So now that I finished my focal point and my background, it's time to stamp my sentiment. And the one thing I love about Alex's Alex Syberia Designs sentiments is that the dies actually trace around the sentiment. And I'll show you that in a little bit. But I love that because it just makes the sentiment a little bit more unique. So here I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. How the die almost frames the sentiment rather than having it be just a regular rectangle. So I use the sentiment, all is calm, all is bright. So this will be a Christmas card. And now I'm going to put everything together. I die cut a piece of vellum using one of the scalloped edge dies from Alex Syberia Design because I wanted to soften up that background a little bit to help the flowers, the focal point, pop off the page a little bit more. So I'm going to adhere the backdrop to a 5.5 by 4.25 white card base, and now I'm going to adhere the flowers over the vellum. So I'm going to adhere it over the vellum and then place all of it over the background once I'm done. And I love how each flower, like one flower veers to the right and one flower veers to the left, and they just look very natural together. And now I want to show you how I'm going to glue the vellum. I'm only placing glue where the flowers are. That way when I adhere it onto the card base, you won't see any glue peeking through the vellum. So it makes it a whole lot easier, to tell you the truth, when you're working with vellum. So now I'm just kind of centering the flowers and the vellum onto the background panel, and the last step will be here to apply some foam tape onto my sentiment, just so it pops off the page a little bit more. But you can see, because I used one color family, that the background really, even though this is a very busy card, the background really complements the focal point. And I think the key here is using one color family rather than multiple colors. You can certainly try multiple colors, but I would limit them to no more than 2 to 3 colors. So I'm just about finished. I'm adding a little bit of gold drops just to complement the gold in the foil, and this card is finished. Look how beautiful. I want to try this in yellow. I feel like yellow would really stand out. And then here's the pink one. Thank you so much for stopping by today.